compiling the AI
Right.
and training after training. So we are going to check the fitness on the X train and Y train, right? So on the
Right.
epochs
Right.
we are
Right.
mentioning. So what is the interpretation from that?
So interpretation is just checking. I'll just check. Just open up the code because I
Okay,
just
let me share my
move.
screen. Let me
Uh,
share my screen. Let me know when you're able to see.
yes. Okay.
Okay, so here.
Mm.
See the training A and on the training data sets fit. So we are using epochs 100, right? So from there, I think we are seeing some values like 2 ms per
Values.
step
Yes.
accuracy,
Yes.
loss, and
Okay.
epoch those things. So what is that actually? The
Yeah. Okay.
interpretation.
Come down. Come down. So making the part 4, making the prediction and evaluating the model, and then yeah, 4 by 4. Yeah, predicting the result of a single observation. Okay. So epoch, you know what is epoch? Epoch is nothing but an iteration. So in that iteration, what is happening? We are trying to reduce the loss function. What is the loss function? That is an error function. Okay. So we are trying to reduce the error so that we'll get more accuracy. Okay. So, I mean, why we are going for 100 epochs or 50 epochs or 20 epochs when the model is getting uh, reducing their error and then increasing their accuracy means it comes through your experience. So if you are training the model for artificial neural network, so especially this is a, I think, churn modeling. It is banking information, I guess. This is for a credit card information, whether the
Yeah,
person
yeah.
will exist or will exit. The person will continue the operation with the same bank, or he will, or
Exit.
she will exit the bank. So this is what we are predicting over in this neural network. So what this model is exactly is doing, it is trying to find out, because if we are finding out the more accuracy, we need to find out, I mean, actually reducing the error. That means unwanted informations, unwanted the chunks of data we need to reduce, and overall just to keep on I mean retaining with this customer or with this bank as a customer, and then just continue the banking operation. So if you just maybe you can test it, the epochs like 75, 50. If you are getting some kind of an accuracy like 75, 76, something like that, then this model still needs some kind of a fine tuning. So this is called as fine tuning technique. Okay. Even you can test it over the period of time, how long it will take based on the data. I think Chan modeling, this is around 4,000 or 5,000 data. Let's check with that, right? And if you just see, come down. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, this
So
is
this
the
false. Yeah,
transform.
this is the prediction. So false means this guy won't exist. The particular the ID, the particular row. This person won't exist, and he wanted to leave this bank. That is what this prediction means. So how they are coming into the conclusion based on their salary structure, based on their expenditure, spending capacity, based on their other maybe working environment. I mean, a lot of considerations. It is not only about their paycheck. It is not only about their monthly paycheck. It is all around, because even 2 lakhs per month, who is earning, they, it is not that they used to spend a lot. No. But what we are doing over here, we need to find out who is spending monthly. The banking purpose, it is trying to find out who has capacity of spending all their money or some chunk of money on a regular basis, and we need to predict that. So futuristic action it is placing over here. Okay, it is not just like that we are doing. So if you see the entire return modeling.csv file, you will be able to see all these things. To say, for instance, you are just print ann.predict the sc.transform. One might be person ID or something, and 600 or 6,000 or 50,000. These are all the annual. I mean 60,000, 50,000. These are all annual salary. Might be the expenditure thing, but something somewhat he is not interested in staying out over here, maybe because of their services, because of they are not increasing their credit limit. There are so many other things as well. So that is what the bank is trying to find out whether this, so that they can stop their service immediately for that particular customer, and that is how. Yeah. So see this. So should we say goodbye to that customer? If it is yes, he will go out. If it is no, and we need to see where is yes. I mean, where is true or where is false. I mean, how to interpret yes or no, how to interpret 0 or 1, and what is the condition. So what, based on the question, you'll be able to predict that customer will be retained by the bank, or he will just go out of the bank. He'll say just wanted to exit because of so many other reasons as well. That is, if it is another reason, that is another analytics we have to do. So, but this ANN, it's only focusing on whether this person is continuing interested to continue the service or not. That is the objective of this particular ANN model. So that is where we just stop. But you can just even you can just go for 150 epochs. Even if you go for 150 epoch, if you just it is just going on and on the iteration. If the loss function is same, if you see this loss function, it is on an average it is between 0.34 or 0.35 between, and that is the saturated point. So that is why they just stopped only the 100 epochs. Otherwise, if they can find out some of the misinterpretation, or there is a huge difference between this number, then they will go for 150, or they increase the database size of the database. So with this size of the database, with this epoch, whatever we have right now find out for this ANN model, it is working fine. It is got saturated. Even if you can see the accuracy model, it is just between 0.86, 0.856. So more or less, it is between 0.86. That's it. You can see all the epochs between 0.6, 0.86, 0.86, 87, or 85, 85, 86. That is how it is. So that is the point.
Maximum 0.86.
Maximum point. It is, and this is how you, because it is a 2D environment of the data. That's 2D array. We are going to deal with. So this is first of all, based on the database, you have to come to interpretation. So that is why I used to ask you to just to go through the model, and then we will just interpret what are all the models that are available. Okay.
So it is
So
basically what we follow in the training and testing method only here also following ANN. So
yes,
the data
the
processing
same
like
thing.
scaling, one card encoding,
Mm-hmm.
encoding data labeling,
Exactly.
and then
Exactly.
putting into the training model, and then evaluating that particular method.
Evaluating. Yes.
Mm.
So using Keras package, Keras
Mm.
module, and we are
Mm.
applying this model, and then we are activation function that is called ReLU. ReLU model is also it is applied, and then this ReLU model it is just giving you the patching. I mean the standardizing, or what we have done in the basic machine learning models. We are benchmark. We are doing some standards to improve the the structure. So, I mean, taking the average, if you're taking an average, we are just come to a conclusion of the entire, say, for instance, if in a classroom, 70 people are there. 20 people are just below average. But if you are taking on an average the entire class, we need to give some kind of a padding thing. Here, the term in deep learning that is called as padding. Instead of using the standardization or benchmark, in this deep learning model, we used to say it is a padding technique. Padding in the sense we'll add some cushion towards the number without affecting the mathematical process. So that we'll prove right hand side equal to left hand side or LHS equal to RHS. I mean, that is how it is. Okay. So one of the famous model is ReLU. We will see those models, in later point in time. ReLU model, sigmoid model. There are so many optimization technique in deep learning model. So once we explore the other neural network model, then we will just slowly get into the ReLU and sigmoid. ReLU is one of the famous model. Everybody is using. Whichever model you are just going in, they will be using for that model, that activation function. So I think in this ANN, we explored what is TensorFlow, what is Keras, and then how this ANN is structured and how this getting interpreted. Only the thing is the activation function we need to see. So only one thing is left over. Just because I'm waiting for to introduce the convolutional neural network, and then we'll discuss the ReLU model, and then
okay, no problem.
Yep.
Okay, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Sai, any question on ANN? ANN is very very simple. A slight advanced model with respect to the basic machine learning, but the real deep learning starts from CNN. So that is why I wanted to introduce, and then we will just even in
One thing,
CNN.
Sini, like,
Yeah.
please share the previous, what is that, recording. Last two classes
Okay,
recording.
okay, okay.
I
You
forgot
don't have, right?
to,
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
yeah, I forgot to share. But anyway, end of the tomorrow, you can compile all 4 classes.
Okay, okay.
Recording you can share.
I will
Yeah,
do that.
yeah.
I'll do that. I think
And
even I forgot.
we were also doing TensorFlow last class.
Okay,
Can you
okay.
just give a summary of TensorFlow?
TensorFlow, right?
Yes.
Okay. Just wait.
We went to tensorflow.org.
Right.
The tensor library we used. What I remember.
So this is So this is the TensorFlow information. I mean, this is what you have to understand in this TensorFlow. It's a framework. It is not a kind of a library. Can you? Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
I think Sai is having. Okay, right. Okay, so this is TensorFlow. I think as I discussed last week, I mean last class, it is a framework. It is not an exactly like a library what we are using, what we used to follow in the basic machine learning process. So this framework is giving you more flexibility so that you can create your mobile application using this TensorFlow model and also your web application. So that is also possible. So how it has been used. So there is one module, it is called as Keras module. Using this Keras module, Keras is coming under this TensorFlow framework. Okay, Under this framework, Keras is a module, and under this, there are so many features. Um, okay, how do I make you understand or visualize? Just imagine in machine learning, um, uh, what to say, in SVM model, okay, support vector machine. We'll be able to understand what is vectorization, how the vector is being defined, and in that SVM model, um, we are using the same SVM classification library. In a same way, TensorFlow, it's not little bit, it is an advanced framework so that whatever your application you are just planning to do, okay. Say for instance, my application, say Sai is interested in doing creating a real estate application, and it has to be an advanced application. If you just started coding, right? You will not be able to know bits and pieces of the basic machine learning code environment, because that is a little bit outdated. Then why we have studied all those things? Because of the basic understanding how machine learning works. That is why we just got introduced, and still more applications that is following your the basic machine learning application, the process, so that you can integrate all the basic machine learning into one application, so that you will be able to understand what is happening. That is one thing. The next thing is, if you are going for a no, I just consider how the SaaS is evaluated. I mean, the evolution or revolution made by the SaaS version control, right? Okay, this version is just using this kind of a latest options or functions or procedure. So likewise, the TensorFlow, it's an more advanced framework, so that you will be able to function over in this framework itself. You can integrate right from the basic machine learning, all the basic machine learning models, and also you can just combine all the codes into one environment, so that you'll be able to create an application. Because if you are just thinking as an application itself will have a lot of functionalities. Yes, as a user point of view, user will think n number of functions they would want to have it in that application. Even that is the most unique proposition we are going to sell to the customer. So if in that case, TensorFlow is you can't avoid TensorFlow, I mean, using TensorFlow framework. That is why still it is in Android. They're having most the market cap they are using. If you consider iOS, that's a separate framework, right? Likewise, in Android, TensorFlow is the you cannot avoid this framework. If you think about any kind of application, you can use machine learning, you can use a deep learning model, whatever you want, whatever you think. Using TensorFlow, you can okay, I will do the basic machine learning. Say for instance, you wanted to create an Uber kind of an application. If you use a TensorFlow, your work might be easier, so that you can do the simple linear regression. You can also kind of a, it is called as pipeline project. So you can just think about bits and pieces of code, block of codes. Okay, I want to predict only the simple linear regression. I want to predict SVM. I want to predict the logistic. I want to predict the other, you know, the other models, um, forest, those kind of the models. Then integrating all these models, which is very easy in TensorFlow. Otherwise, you have to be, your environment should be very, very separated. You can't, integrate all these models into one package. So TensorFlow is doing, because I mean, before on behalf of you, TensorFlow is taking care of everything. That is why everybody are going for Android application. Or if you are planning to do any web application, TensorFlow unavoidable. framework. So this is an overview. I think you got some idea.
This is only one for Android or iOS also they can work for this.
Now there are hybrid models also available, but if you just, you can create an application, and then there are advanced methodology nowadays. You can convert all the TensorFlow into iOS model as well. So that is also possible.
Mm. Okay, in the majorly in the TensorFlow, they adding layers like
Yes,
one first layer, second layer, and
second
then
layer.
output layer.
See,
Okay, so okay,
TensorFlow
what
makes
this
it
layer
easy to
actually
create
does?
layer in the sense that is what we are going to learn more about it, the
Okay,
convolutional
we
layer.
just we are not going into deep.
Started.
Okay, okay.
We are not going in
Mhm.
depth. See, this is TensorFlow makes it easy to create ML models that can run in any environment. Okay, it is a platform independent. It's not a platform dependent. You can do so. For that, you will be able to use a specific API, like how you are using your ChatGPT. ChatGPT is just API. They are giving you the front end so that you are just asking for any questions and you will be getting response. Similar way, if I wanted to use any models, any advanced models, so that you can use the TensorFlow with the usage of TensorFlow, you can just have or create any kind of advanced machine learning models, and you can just plug in any environment, be it web application, be it mobile application, doesn't matter for this. The functionality remains same; it won't affect. So that is why everybody is using this model, this framework, I would say. So the layer will be, coming to that layer, the layer part. The TensorFlow, it's a separate, uh, a class. So we are just, just crossing that. We are just using that framework, and then we'll just pass on to the models. So TensorFlow itself, it's a very huge, a subject by itself. So in that, if you are just going in depth, it is an 1 year or 2 year kind of a course. So you can just study in depth so that you will be able to use only the TensorFlow models. And nowadays, the Gen AI comes in, LLM comes in, and there are so many other APIs comes in. So that API is just, will interact with TensorFlow. We don't have to worry about all those things. So that those kind of an API is taking care of everything. That is why it is a kind of a ready-made application everybody is using, like AWS Party Rock or something, right? They have a framework. They will be just playing like a plug and play model, and you will also be able to create this kind of a model. But if you are more interested in just using only the TensorFlow, then you have to learn the entire process of TensorFlow. But that is not our the course aim. So that is a separate course by itself. Okay. So we are just using that framework, and then we are using a lot of other things as well. Okay. So yeah, this is separate by Google. It's a separate one, and so this is a JavaScript library. Okay, the light RT. This is another deployment model. Deployment in the sense, if your application is ready, okay, you need to deploy it somewhere. Otherwise, you can't able to. You will not be able to access it. So deployment in the sense, you have to go with the AWS or the other cloud infrastructure. You have to deploy those information. And if you consider this iOS, Android, you have to pay for them. Okay, so that is a different methodology. Different people over there, and those people will just help you to deploy, and that is a different. See, as a developer, if you wanted to learn, you will be able to learn, but it takes a time, and all the things, all the work, you will not be. Don't consider that I will be able to know. You have to search for the respective people, and you just ask them to deploy it. That's it. So if you just keep on learning, there is no end towards it. Okay, so that is why ML developers work is different, and this kind of it is coming under networking operations. Okay, this is there are so many other things as well in terms of if you consider APIs. These are all the APIs, the ecosystems. These are the libraries, tools, responsible AI. It is another quite interesting thing. Every stage of your ML workflow, it will be given, make you easier. Okay, but just to know, okay, TensorFlow is there as of now. This is fine because this is what with this knowledge itself, we are going to develop a lot of other applications as well, or we are going to solve a lot of problem statements using TensorFlow and Keras models. Okay, so that will be coming like in your experience. Any other questions? And even for this, they have a GitHub. So if you just go to their github.com, the TensorFlow, you will be getting a lot of even the community. There are of course too many people that are following data sets. You can just trying to uh, download and so many things. This many followers, right? You can follow a lot of projects. How many projects going on? Yeah, it's everything. It's open source, and you'll be able to use it. And repositories. So many data sets that are available. You can go with machine learning, NumPy data, the other data sets. This is a public archive. You can go and use if you want. And you can also contribute. Okay. This is the transformers. So at the end of the information, Hugging Face is coming up, and I will introduce after the CNN what is Hugging Face. With this, you can. I think already I introduced. If not, because after CNN, it will be very easy for you to understand. So this is the AI community. There are so many. Whatever you think. Say, for instance, I'm giving you a problem statement. Create a personal finance assistant. This is the problem statement, and we are going to start. Right? You can go and search for the simple model that you will be able to build through this available models. There are 11 lakh. Okay, 11 lakhs 63,552 models that are available. That is, everything is open source. You will be able to pitch in, and whatever the problem statement you are thinking, the Hugging Face is providing you the features like audio, text to text, image, text to text, visual question answering, document question answering, video text to text, any to any. And then the computer vision technology like depth estimation, image classification, object detection, image segmentation. So whatever right now the ANN, we just it is a kind of I mean predicting the future of whether any person or any model. It's not only banking. If you take any scenarios, so ANN is a very simplified model, and you can just using the um, the models like how you are able to maybe the epochs 50, 100, 200 based on the data sets. So just going and you reduce the error and increasing the accuracy, and you'll be able to find out the right model in ANN. But the challenge is ANN is less used in this scenario because there is an advanced like CNN. In that CNN, there is NLP. In that NLP, there is an LLM. There are so many other models that are exist. So that people are going and using the large models, so that they are most interested to those kind of things. The computer visions. It starts from the deep learning with the convoluted neural network. Okay, so that is the starting point of the real deep learning process. So if you are using, I already introduced about the Google AI Studio, even Groq Studio I have introduced. Likewise, you will be able to create, uh, just I clicked something. This is towards open reasoning models for open-ended solution. So this is the model. You can create an API authentication. Okay, going with you have to sign up before this, and then you can get into this and you can deploy this model. Okay. Last month itself, there are 6,488 people, they have downloaded this model, and they are using this model for their testing purposes. Okay. And there are so many other things as well, I want to show you, especially in Hugging Face. Every model is there. If I say any problem statement, all the problem statement that is already existed, just because the challenge over in deep learning or any artificial intelligence, especially neural network, testing process will, you need to have the infrastructure, and most probably we don't have that. So unless and otherwise, if you are a researcher, unless otherwise, if you are um, a company owner, you won't be able to get this kind of an opportunity to test it. Okay, so that is why this kind of a community has been created, and this community, they are interacting, and you can test it like a pilot phase. So just now we have seen the churn modeling CSV file, it is having around 4,000. But for neural network, or at least a deep learning, that data set or information won't be enough to test it. Okay. So now in CNN, what we are going to do, we are going to predict whether this is a human face or whether this is a dog or a cat face. If the system or the model wanted to identify, it has to train perfectly. Perfectly in the sense, you have to give more and more and more images to train the model. That is one of the the required thing. Unfortunately, many people won't be having it. That is why this community has been created recently, and this has been grown like anything. Now, Hugging Face we can't avoid, like how TensorFlow you can't avoid in this neural network. In the same way, Hugging Face you can't avoid. You have to utilize this Hugging Face environment, and this kind of an open source. You have to test it first, and then you can go and deploy after getting the budget allocation and the other things as well. Okay, so this is how you have to start your project, and this is how you have to think in AI ML. And otherwise, there is no. You'll be able to create, but you will not be able to test it. We have to test it along with the right information, right data sets. Otherwise, your model will just be simply just sitting. So model has to get trained. We have to test whether the trained information is right or not. For the testing and validation, it takes time. As of now, if you are whatever the configuration you are having right now in your laptop, it won't be enough to carry out. But to some extent, you will be able to test it. Okay. But for the larger, kind of, say for instance, if you are creating agentic AI, maybe pilot phase testing, whatever the configuration right now you have, okay. But if you are going as a product, then you need to have a proper system. That is why everybody will be going for AWS or the other cloud environment like Google Cloud or Azure or whatever it is. So you have to buy, per month or annually. You have to subscribe. You have to pay for them, and you have to deploy your application over there. You have to test it. And if you are very confident, you can also sell it. Simple. Or you can own it. by just buying the patent, and then you there is a procedure for buying a patent. You have to apply for that, and then nobody will claim that patent in future, so that you are safe, and your model is safe, and also it is very very uh, if that unique selling proposition model is okay, then you will also start your own entrepreneurship journey. So that is how startup will evolve. Okay, I think I have given too much information as of now. Even just to show, I think I already given you this information, but still I wanted to reiterate. So use this kind of a platform, so that I think I introduced a Groq Cloud previously.
Yeah, this is
Previously
the
I
first
introduced.
Hugging Face you showed us.
Okay, Groq Cloud, didn't?
No,
Okay,
this is first.
okay, right. So yeah, it's like, okay. So now I'm just asking some questions to this, and I will show you how we'll be able to create it. Mm, what is even simple personal asking? So about CNN, see the inference, how many tokens it has been used, 14 input. So we'll see. Okay, these are all the input, and for 28 milliseconds is giving you the speed. Okay, towards the example. I mean prompt. So thousand. I mean, yeah, 1,200 tokens have used. Okay. Now, so what is the big deal over here? Right? If you are creating an application, okay, the right side you can see view code, right, and then you'll be seeing Llama 3. 8B is nothing but 8 billion text the Llama has been trained. So Llama is nothing but from Meta. And actually, this Groq Cloud is giving you so much flexibility to test this model in Gemma. Gemma is nothing but Google Gemini model. It's from Google. So this Llama 3 Groq, this is the Groq model. So Groq, they are just having this Llama 3 API. Using this API, they are just creating some information. So Hugging Face itself, they are having Whisper. There is a model called Whisper. So through Whisper also you can test this. What is CNN? How long it will take? And also through Meta, there are so many models. See this 3.1, 70 billion, 70 billion text. So this is again 70 billion versatile. This is spec, this DEC. This is vision preview, 11 billion text, maybe even including um, image also. I mean, that is why you are, I think in your WhatsApp, Meta is there, right? So you have to check whether which Llama they are using, because this is all coming from Meta. That is why if you are asking any question from Meta, it is giving along with the image. We have to ask with the right prompt. Okay. So Llama, there are so many models, and Llama is, I think, it is really doing good, and really sometimes it is great. Okay, and this is Mistral AI. This is one of other model like Perplexity Claude. This is also the Mistral AI. That's the same kind of a chat GPT. Okay, they have